Hey y'all, welcome back to At the Table Podcast, the virtual table where we discuss all things young adulting. My name is Fikayo, and thank you so much for having me back in your ears. So, in this podcast today, we are going to be talking about building habits, and y'all should know I am committed to this because it is 3 a.m. and I was like, no. I need to have this podcast out. I think it's going to be a great resource for people. I think people are going to really love it. And I think people need it because I needed it once upon a time until I learned how to build better habits. So I'm really excited for today and I'm really excited for this conversation. But you guys know, before we start anything, here we are at the table. And here at the table, we pray. So what have you guys been praying for? Lately, I've just been praying for like the people that need to come into my life. So I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, so many podcasts, and they talk about how just they were very lucky at weird times. Like maybe someone would come into their life at the exact moment that they needed them to, or just the exact right publisher, or the exact right this or that. And I'm praying to God that the exact right person will come into my life at the exact right time so that I can be everything. Because in a lot of these podcasts, these people, they talk about how they like this one and like this weird insignificant moment literally changed their life. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need that one break. You just need that one person taking an interest in you. You just need that one person sharing that resource, and it will change your life. So I'm really trying to be intentional of every interaction I make, every person that I come across. Oh my goodness, I'm thinking of that Maya Angelou quote where she said, "People will forget what you do, but they'll never forget how you made them feel." So that's another thing. Like I really want to make sure that I leave everyone feeling good because I don't know. I hope y'all got it. But yeah, that's how I've been praying. And if you are true to At the Table podcast, you know what segment comes next. And it is, what are you snacking on? And that is the segment where we talk about all the current things happening in all of our lives. And you know what's currently happening in our life, in my life right now? Y'all, I just listened to that song, oh gosh, the Rich Men North of Richmond. Oh my goodness, it's literally blowing up as of yesterday that I looked it up. And yesterday was the 24th of August 2023. It had like 34 million views, which is insane. Like he literally blew up overnight, which I am slightly jealous, but that's neither here or there. Um it was I don't know what to say, and I don't mean to be like politically anything, but is it bad that I thought it was kind of good? I understand that he's a plant and stuff like that, and all the political whatevers, the whoever's, but like as a standalone song, I feel like it made me feel things. The chorus was there. It was catchy. Like I feel like the song by itself was a pretty good song, but you know what? That's also neither here or there. But that is what we've been snacking on lately. But anyway, let's get into these habits because I'm really excited for them and I hope you are as well. So, you know how we all have that one habit that we wish we could magically adopt, right? Yeah. For me, it was incorporating a morning routine that kickstarts my day with positivity. And let me tell you, it's not magic, it's science. And we are going to talk about how habits form, the psychology behind them, and how we can harden this incredible power to transform our lives. Here's the secret sauce. So, habits are like that cozy sweater you slip on without thinking, they're automatic. And they're made up of a cue, of routine, and of reward. So, understanding this loop can unlock the potential craft to your habits, and they'll help you truly align to your desires. Our brains, they're like these magnificent gardens that we can cultivate, right? And that's where neuroplasticity comes into play. And that's the ability of our brains to essentially rewire themselves. And I'm going to take you on a quick journey into the world of neuroplasticity, where we'll discover how we mold our brains to support the habits that we want. Okay, so picture this. Every time you repeat a behavior, you are paving a neural pathway. And the more that you thread that path, it becomes stronger. And this is great news because that means that we can actually rewire our brains to embrace healthier routines. And it's like planting seeds of change in your mind and watching them bloom. Okay, so let me give you a practical example. So for example, the running that I do, right? Um, I hated it at first, and it was because, well, it was horrible. But then also my brain just wasn't used to it. But now in the morning, I don't even have to think about it, and I'm out of bed on time. I've put on my sports bra. I've put on my tennis shoes, and I have left the house, and I'm already on the road running. Like, I do it without having to think, and it goes back to that cue, a routine, and a reward that I was talking about. So the cue usually for my running is to wake up. The routine is to do it every weekday, is what I've promised myself. And the reward is truly just the dopamine and adrenaline that I get after the run. And y'all, let me tell you something. That is actually very, very real. Runner's high is amazing. The dopamine that I get, the feeling that I get after I've done a really hard run or a long run or a run that I didn't even want to do is amazing. It really is. So, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and I hope that made sense. Now, let's talk tactics, right? I'm a firm believer that small changes create big impacts. And this even goes all the way back to the Bible because those that are do you remember that quote? It says like those that are loyal with small will be good with big, something along those lines. And I think that it's the small things that accumulate to make the big. So, for instance, I started incorporating 10 minutes meditation in my mornings, and it has transformed my mindset. So, what is your goal? Is it to run a marathon? Is it to be more mindful? Is it to become a better student? Is it to read more? Let's break those down into tiny, achievable steps. It's like literally building a staircase to your dreams. You take it one step at a time. And of course, let's not talk about our secret ingredient, which is consistency. It's like watering those plants that you just planted. They need regular attention to thrive. So create cues that nudge you in the right direction and celebrate each milestone. Remember, perfection isn't the goal, progress is. So, for example, what I was talking about with cues, when I started like this mind wellness journey, I wanted to be intentional about the way I started my day and ended my day, right? Because sleep is actually very, very important. Sleep is not just rest, actually. It is time for your brain and your body to recover. So, sleep is just very, very important. So, at night, when I want to start my nighttime routine, I have cues. I have an alarm that goes off at 8:30 telling me, okay, sis, it's time to start winding down. I put a little lavender in my candle warmer. I do not recommend that. I'm sure maybe possibly it could be a fire hazard. I don't know. I start my humidifier and I take a shower. That is how I let my body, soul, and mind know that it's time to start winding down. This is our routine. This is what we do. And this is how we do it. So I create those cues, and also I involve all parts of my senses, and that's I think that's pretty. It's really good to do that. Like I involve obviously my nose with the lavender, my body physically knows because I'm taking a shower, and I use hot water to shower at night, and I use cold water to shower in the morning. So I'm using hot water, which will increase my temperature, and there is neuroscience that backs all of this stuff up. Please don't quote me But there is neuroscience that backs all of this up, or neuropsychology that backs all of this up. And by increasing my body temperature, I guess it helps me go to sleep better and stuff like that. So I'm including all of my senses. I also put on thunderstorm YouTube videos because I seem to really like those. So I listen to that while I'm sleeping as well. So it's a full out experience for me. And I think that helped me be able to strengthen my habits when I make it a whole experience. So maybe that's something that you can consider as well. Making it an experience, involving all of your senses, making it a little bit intricate so that it's something that you intentionally have to do, and you have to be mindful doing it, you know? Yeah. Of course, I am not oblivious, right? Life happens. And sometimes our life doesn't quite align with our new habits. So, how do you stay on track when your work piles up? Or, truly, just honestly, the motivation goes down? Well, that's where the real magic lies in facing obstacles head on. You know what? I was listening to something yesterday, and he literally said, the obstacle is the way. If 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 you're struggling to adopt something new, you just have to do it. You just have to push yourself to it. When I was struggling with running in the morning, I would just be like, I have to do this thing. I have to. Like, there's no if, ands, or buts about it. I'm not gonna die off of running a mile. I'm gonna be okay, but I just have to do it. The obstacle is the way. Just do it. But yeah. And here's another trick that I learned, and it's simple, but it's highly effective, and it's visualize the success. Imagine yourself embodying that new habit, soaking in the joy that it brings. And when the going gets tough, you do not throw in the towel. Setbacks are stepping stones to growth. It's like hiking a trail, and the view from the top is worth every single struggle. And that is so true. I used to hang on to this quote, and it's the quote that says, the Addie from a year from now will be so proud of the Addie of today. My name is also Addie, by the way. But yeah, the Addie from a year from now will be so proud of the Addie of today. And it is so true, because the Addie from a year ago is so, well, the Addie now, me, I am so proud of the Addie I was a year ago. Like, the strength that I had to muster up to decide to change my life, the steps that I took to decide to change my life, the hard decisions, the hard plans. Like, I am so proud of the Addie that I was, because she did it and she got us here. So I'm so excited to see where, if I continue the same discipline, the same consistency, where I'll be 5 years from now. It's really exciting. And I hope that you have that type of excitement for yourself. I hope you have that type of motivation for yourself, and I hope that you have those type of ambitions as well, because it is worth it. It is hard, it is grueling, it's sometimes very painful, but it really is worth it, because what you're going higher. You are growing. You are defeating every obstacle, and you are in your youth as well. So there is no better time to start trampling on these snakes than now. There is no better time to start climbing the ladder than now. So I think it's worth it. And obviously, because I think it's worth it, I'm going to give us some tips and tricks for habit building. These are some things that I use, actually, and that really helped me in the beginning of my journey. And number one was start small. Choose a habit that is so small that you can't say no. Like, literally doing 2 minutes of stretching every morning, and that is the foundation. When I was starting my journey, I remember I wanted to start with intermittent fasting, because at that point as well, I had blown up. So I was like, it's really not that hard. I'm just gonna have my eating windows from 12 a.m. to 7 p.m. and that wasn't difficult for me because I don't eat breakfast anyway. But the real struggle was that late night snacking, because a girl likes to snack late night. So it's one of those things that I had to set an alarm and I just be like, no, I'm cutting you off. And it was so simple. Also, another tiny thing I did was also the running, to be honest. I would scroll on Instagram for 10 minutes to see what 10 minutes felt like. And I'd be like, cuz I knew me running a mile would take about 10 minutes. And I'd be like, that wasn't even that long. So, I can sit here and I can scroll on social media. Let me try and make this time a bit more productive. Let me stand up and let me go run really quickly, because like I've already seen how fast 10 minutes is and how fast 10 minutes can go, at least on social media, right? So let's see, let me just take that and do it in something hard as well. I don't know if how I'm explaining it is really helping explain what my brain went through to kind of reason how and why I would run. But like it was like I just did 10 minutes on social media. I can do 10 minutes doing something that would be good for me, and it's worth it. So I really really do suggest start small. Choose a habit so small. Again, you cannot say no to. Anchor words, Addie. Anchor your habit, your new habit, to an existing habit. So attach your new habit to something that you already do consistently. For example, if you're trying to drink more water, do it right after you are brushing your teeth. And we've talked about this before on this podcast, but it is, what is the name of it actually? Because I lost the name of it while I was writing the script and I was hoping I would get it back. But it's called like coupling your it's called like coupling, or I don't remember. We'll see what happens if I remember it later. But it's so true. Like, add your habits onto existing habits. It literally makes the most sense. Just like how you shower and you brush your teeth, you put those two habits together. Put two other habits together. When I go to sleep, I put the humidifier on and I put lavender in my candle warmer. They are literally sitting right next to each other, so I do both things at the exact same time. Figure out how you can implement systems in your life. And systems like that have seemed to be very, very useful to me, and hopefully they can be useful to you as well. Another one is celebrate your wins. Every small victory is a reason to celebrate. Treat yourself to something you love, and when you stick to your habit for at least a week straight. I love to treat myself. I think it's very important. If I run 4 or 5 times a week, or 4 times a week, I will take myself out on a Thursday to get something. Usually it's kava. Now I'm kind of weaning off of my kava addiction, and now I'm going into banana pudding. But yeah, it's a small little thing. But if I run 4 or 5 times a week, yeah, I'm getting myself some kava or banana pudding, and it makes the journey just sweeter. It feels good. So that's what I recommend. I'll find an accountability buddy also. I find that this is really, really good for people. I do not necessarily have an accountability buddy, but oh my gosh, I wish I did. I do enjoy telling my friends about like what I'm doing, and my sister as well. For example, she knew that I had to have this podcast up, and this podcast also is a habit. And it has to be something that's implemented into my routine every day. But she knew that I had a podcast due today, and she asked me last night. She was like, "Have you done that podcast?" So it was nice to have her kind of like jolt me out of life and remind me of this responsibility I have, and that is essentially the use of accountability partners. This is also someone to share your journey with, who can help you build your habit and check in with you, and this can be incredibly motivating, and it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Another tip I have is journal your progress. Write down your thoughts, your feelings, and your progress can help you stay on your journey and help you develop a mindfulness habit. For example, I always refer back to my running because it really is my strongest and the habit that I'm the most proud of. But I remember writing when I first started about how I hated it so much and it was miserable and I didn't like it. Or before I'd go out on a run, I'd write and be like, I don't want to do this run, I don't want to do this run. And then I come back and I would write, that was amazing. I love running. And it was so interesting to see how, like, my brain condemned something before I did it. But once I forced myself to do that thing, my brain was kind of like, it wasn't even that bad. Well, it wasn't that bad, but my brain's kind of like, okay, that was nice. That was nice. So journal your progress. It's really really nice and it's refreshing. And also now I do not dread running as much as I used to then. Like I like what oh my gosh, when I first started, my ankles would hurt and my calves would hurt and I would be swollen for days. But now I don't feel none of that stuff. So it's nice to go back to my journals that I wrote about journaling and see how far I've come, even mentally, physically, everything. My opinion of running, how it's changed, all of it. So I say journal your progress. Another tip I only have 7 tips, so we're coming up on the 6th, and I'm about to hit you with the 7th in case you're like, oh my gosh, it's so long. No, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I'm sorry. Number 6 is embrace the imperfection. Don't beat yourself up with the occasional slip up. Life happens, and that's okay. Get back on track and keep moving forward. I am someone who I'm learning this, that it is okay. Those weeks that I don't run 3 times or 4 times a week, like I really do beat myself up for it. Those nights that I fall asleep with my makeup on and I do not do my nighttime routine, I really beat myself up for it. Those weeks that I do not put out a podcast, I really beat myself up for it. But what I'm trying to learn is it isn't about how you fell, it's about how you get up. Like, you have to get up. You have to get up and you have to start it all over again. Because, like, hope isn't lost. Hope is not lost. You just have to go find it again. Or you just have to keep working on it. But it doesn't define you. Like, falling or not doing well does not define you. Allow it to strengthen you. And allow it to teach you how to continue to move forward. I love that this is a lifetime journey. And if you're lucky, you're going to live a pretty long life. So you have a long time in mastering things. Just make sure that you're actively trying to master them. But you have a long time to work on things and make your systems good. I'm not going to say perfect because that might be too much of an extreme. But make your systems good. Make yourself stronger. So don't beat yourself up. That's what I'm trying to teach myself with this podcast, especially. Like, don't beat yourself up. Just make sure it gets done. Because realistically, I should have had this podcast out at 12 a.m., but now it's 3 a.m. and I'm recording it and I still have to edit it and everything. But here I am. I'm still doing it. It might be a little different. It might be not the way I intended it to be, but here we are. So that is my little 2 cents. And my very last tip is visual reminders. Place visual reminders all over your environment. Sticky notes, your phone wallpapers, even a vision board. And these are consistent like nudges that literally can make wonders happen. Y'all, if you see my room, I have post-it notes everywhere. I have index cards everywhere with quotes. I love quotes. I love visual cues. I'm a visual girl, so I love it. My journal is filled with quotes, and I made it like that. So in case I'm ever going through a specific bad day, I can flip back to them and remember. This is a really good quote. I think one of my favorites right now is, "In a seed lies the potential of thousands of forests." Oh my gosh, isn't it good? It is so good. And every time I feel tired or unmotivated or just defeated generally, I remember these quotes and I remember how they make me feel, and they lift me right back up. I draw. There was this iceberg analogy that I was working through this week while my quiet time, and it talks about how people will compliment you just for the tip of the iceberg, but they don't see all of the work that you do underneath the iceberg. And that is so true. And it's also something, it was also something to make you feel humble or whatever. But besides the point, that is so true. And that is something that, like, now I draw icebergs everywhere because my running in the morning is a part of the iceberg. Me doing this podcast at 3 a.m. No, it's not a part of the iceberg. It's a part of the ice underneath the water that you don't see. My doing my podcast every morning is a part of the ice under the iceberg that you don't see. But every week you see Addie has a podcast or Fikayo has a podcast, you know? The scripting that I do for the podcast, the studying that I do, the research that I do for this podcast, all these things. Oh, my body is fit. Like, you don't see the running that I do that's under that's under the ice. So I don't know. Building habits and being intentional about habits and creating systems that work for me specifically has changed my life and has changed the way I live it. And I hope that if you are a young person and you're trying to figure out how to effectively change your life and start implementing good things, that you are empowered through this podcast. I really do, because I really believe in you, and I'm really proud of you because I understand, like, it's not easy, and waking up every morning is not easy, knowing that you have to do the same day over and over and over again. I completely sympathize, but I'm here with you. You are not alone. I'm here with you, and I'm here to grow with you. And as I'm growing, I will bring everything that I'm learning from all the different places and bring them here so that we can grow together. Okay? I really do care about you. I really, really do. And one day I hope that we're all just amazing. But that is it. That is all. It is time to clear off the table and wash the dishes. Please, on whatever you are listening to us to, please give us the 5 stars. We really need it. Follow us as well so that you know when new episodes come out. Que más? Oh, follow us on Instagram as well, at the table _pod. If you would like to see the face behind the voice, you can follow me at Fikayo, Fiikayo, and just let me know that you're listening. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you are at the table. And let your friends know that you are at the table too. Please help me start reposting, y'all. I really need it. I really, really do. But I really appreciate you. And you're amazing. Do you know that? Yeah. Oh, don't forget as well, we have a BetterHelp sponsorship. So if you do need therapy, BetterHelp is here to help at the table viewers, and we have a little discount as well. I really wanted to make sure that I had that for y'all because therapy is important. Okay, all right. I think that's it. But hold on. Don't forget. Remember to laugh really loud and pray about everything. Goodbye.